Hi, I'm Mark Monlux, and this is your Friday night movie recommendation. Into the Wayback Machine, we're going to 1984 when Ronald Reagan was still president. And the biggest scandal of the presidency that year was he happened to say underneath a mic that he might just bomb Russia. So that made the big news, and that was the big kerfuffle and pretty mild potatoes compared to today's standards. So, what are some of the other things that were happening in the world? Well, let's see. Lots of neat inventions. Apple released the Macintosh. Also, the 3.5-inch floppy disk was invented and released. CD-ROMs, 3D printing, all those were invented. Were released over-the-counter Advil and Hot Pockets. Tetris was a fun game. The Purple Rain was released, and When Doves Cry by Prince went to number one on the charts. Also, we had, oh my God, so many fun TV shows came out that year. Night Court, Airwolf, Who's the Boss, Murder She Wrote, and my own one of my favorites, Tales from the Dark Side. I love that show. And let's see, what else from 1994? Oh, at the Oscars, Terms of Endearment. Oh, wow, it won Best Picture. And that was just one of 5 Oscars. And it was a really terrific, high-quality movie. Now, of all the high-quality sci-fi and horror movies that I can recommend, I'm not going to recommend any of them. Instead, I'm going to recommend a really schlocky film, which is truly dear to my heart, and that is The Ice Pirates. So this film was supposed to have a $20 million budget, and ended up being reduced back to a $8 million budget. And they, the guy says, "Well, I can make that work if we make it a comedy, and if you let me rewrite the script." So they said, "Okay, let's rewrite the script." Now, there were people in the studios who were trying to sabotage this poor film. And even the ending that was supposed to be on it wasn't there. Premise, it's set in the future. The guy made sure that he didn't watch Star Wars because he didn't want to be affected and make it look like anything like Star Wars. This movie does not look anything like Star Wars. But it has such an endearing quality to it, and the humor is juvenile and crass, and my brothers and I, we saw it that summer. I can still remember the warm night and the cool breeze in my hair and going outside and still having stitches in my ribs from laughing so hard. Oh my God, we had such a good time that we told the brothers that I went with, I've got lots of brothers, told my other brothers, and we had to go back and see it again. And then we had to go back and see it again. I think I saw this movie at least 4 times in the theater, let alone how many times on VHS, because it is just a fun film to watch. Now, interestingly enough, the people who were big in the film, let's see, what was his name? Peter Ulrich? Robert Ulrich was the main star. But we have lots of... John Carradine was one of the characters. There's so many great actors in this. And then we have Angelica Houston, Ron Perlman was in this. People, you're going to see a lot of familiar faces from the 80s. You're going to see some familiar faces from the 50s movies, and you're going to see, okay, the robots. I happen to know a little bit about the robots because was reading the special effects magazines of the day. And the robots in this have a kind of interesting look. What they did was they didn't have a budget to make iron robots, but there were a ton of robots. What they did was they made the robots' costumes out of leather and they made it look like metal. First of all, making them out of leather instead of metal made the suits a lot lighter. Not exactly cooler, but a lot lighter. And there's a way that you can, if you burnish or take a stick and rub leather, you can make it shine like metal. It gets this polished effect to it. So that's what they did. And they also kept they hid the low budget by making a lot of the spaceships look clunky. They wanted to make the pirates look like they were putting together their spaceships out of anything they could manage to, scrounge around for. There's so many funny scenes in this film. It's over the top. It's ludicrous. You're going to discover space herpes and ever wonder how you can't unsee space herpes. Oh my God. Whenever I mention ice pirates to my brothers, they smile and they laugh. Oh my God. And I found that this is not restricted just to my family. I mentioned this to other people. I say, oh, what about ice pirates? And they'll go, oh my God, ice pirates. Ha 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 ha. So that's my recommendation for you tonight from 1984. It may not have won any Oscars, but it's really dear to my heart, and you're going to love it too. Watch Ice Pirates. Now, if you like my movie recommendations, and I hope you do, please like, click, follow, and share. I appreciate all that, and I'll see you later.